Charlotte Stacey's been following events for us and is outside the John Radcliffe Hospital in Oxford. Charlotte, what's been happening today?
Well, despite the cold and rain today, Jerry, there have been large numbers of doctors on strike across the region. I've joined picket lines outside hospital gates and in city centres. It's a complex issue, but as you say, it's essentially a dispute over terms of a new contract being proposed by the government. I started my day in Buckinghamshire shortly after the strike started.
Save our NHS! Save our NHS!
Enthusiastic chanting kept junior doctors warm on the picket line outside Stoke Mandeville Hospital this morning. In line with colleagues across the country, they walked out at 8 a.m.
It's not fair to impose a contract that is so contentious without making sure that it's, that it's not putting patients at risk.
I have my family, I have my son who's 21 months. I don't see Saturday as a normal working day, I see that as time to spend with my family.
Just under 40% of junior doctors turned up for work today, meaning cancelled appointments and postponed treatments.
I can only apologise and put forward that we are doing this as a very last resort. We really have tried our best over the last 2 years to try and negotiate with the government and provide a contract that is safe for patients and fair for doctors going forward.
It's not safe! It's not fair!
At lunchtime, doctors in Oxford moved their protest to the streets to meet the public, explain the strike and raise awareness.
We're trying to say, here we are, we're your doctors, we're here to care for you, and we're fighting this contract because we feel it's unsafe and unfair, not just for us, but for you, our patients.
The row is over a new contract. There are disagreements about pay, working hours and the introduction of more weekend services.
At the moment we have an NHS where if you have a stroke at the weekends, you're 20% more likely to die. That can't be acceptable, and the right thing to do is not to strike, but actually sit round the table, talk to the government about how we deliver a truly 7-day NHS.
Hospitals across the region have been affected. They issued statements reassuring the public that all urgent and emergency services were continuing, that patient safety wasn't being compromised, and that they were trying to keep disruption to a minimum. Some appointments are being rescheduled.
Absolutely scandalous that there's a risk that people may be treated by doctors, junior doctors, who worked for up to 70 hours a week.
I definitely want to see 7-day working, but that's got to be worked out financially, so I'm not sure.
Well, the way the governments are treating them, they've got no choice really, have they?
While there's broad public support for the strike, on BBC Oxford's Facebook page there were also voices against. Neither the government or doctors are in the right here. Times are changing and there's no such thing nowadays as unsociable hours anymore, writes Paul Cox. It's a 24-hour world now. Justine Watson comments, all they have done is put patients' operations back and caused a further backlog within the NHS. The walkout continues until 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, but another strike is planned for the end of the month if a resolution can't be reached.
Charlotte, what effect has the strike had for people here so far?
Well, it's quite difficult to tell actually, Jerry. Only one hospital has come back to us today with figures about how they've been affected. Milton Keynes University Hospital said they've had to cancel 108 outpatient appointments, and 36 operations that had been planned. Other hospitals in our region, the John Radcliffe behind me, the Great Western Hospital in Swindon and Stoke Mandeville Hospital in Buckinghamshire, have declined to tell us how they've been affected. Nationally though, we do know that only around 71% of the medical workforce turned up today, so there has clearly been an impact.
Charlotte Stacey in Oxford, thank you.